Okay, so perfect. Let me get this done, and we've got everybody here. I am going to make sure that we have just one video going. Oh, great. Cape Cod. So Trish is here. And what else do we, oh, Mary from rainy Ohio. Yeah, I got rainy Pennsylvania here today too. So we are nice and rainy. This is good. Perfect. All right. Excellent. Up. And Sharon from New Jersey. Oh, hi, Sharon. Nice to have you here. Okay. All right. So everybody has the PDF, yes? Okay. So we're going to get ready and we'll get started because I think we are ready to go. All right. Let's see. And hi from, I think that's Marie. I did read it right. Yay. Okay. Marie's here. Hi, Marie. Okay, good. Remember, if you're going to leave a comment in the chat, leave it to, you can use that drop-down box for all panelists and attendees. Okay. And I think we're ready to go. Shall we start? Okay. Everybody can see me okay? All right. Good. Okay. I think we're fine. I think we're good. All right. Let's see what we can do here. Okay. Greetings from sunny Vermont. Well, I'm so jealous. The Vermont is sunny. Who's in Vermont? Susan. Well, that's okay. You enjoy sunny Vermont, and we'll be here. So everybody ready to warm up? Now, I promised you warm up with a twist, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Let me make sure that we've got all this video working properly. Okay. All right. I seem to be good here. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to do this scale warm-up. And so we've got entire raft of scales. You probably saw them, but I promised you warm-ups with a twist. And this one has so many twists, it's ridiculous. So this one has just plenty of twists. And it's not only about scales. It's not only about even fingers. It's also about playing different rhythms evenly. It's also about transposition, and it's also about developing speed. And that's actually the one we're going to concentrate on today. So we're going to start with just plain old scales. Now, everybody's scale fingering is a little bit different. So you can actually use a fingering that works for you. There we go. That's a little bit better. There we go. We can actually use a fingering that works for you on the scales. I mean, the little 1 octave scale to start. Pretty simple. Just, that's good. But all the other scales are 2 octave scales, of course. Let me see. I'm like the top of my head's cut off. What can I do about this? I don't know. There we go. It'll just be cut off. Okay. So the 2 octave scales, some people put it's going to be 3 groups of 4 and 1 group of 3 fingers, right? It doesn't matter to me where you put it. It can be any place along the line. You can change your mind partway through. The only idea is that you're going to want to come out even. In other words, without fingers left over at the bottom, if you can help it. The point here is that the different rhythmic groups are going to help you put accents on different fingers. And so that's really going to show you a little bit more about where your fingers need some extra strengthening. I'll tell you, I was warming up just a few minutes before I got on the call. And for some reason, my left-hand third finger is just not cooperating today. So you're going to hear me fight with it just a little bit. I don't know, it feels like it grew overnight. It just feels too long. So just so you know, when that happens to you and you feel like, one of these fingers is just not working the way it usually does, happens to everybody. So, and this is my left-hand third finger today. It's just not happy. But we're going to work on these scales, C major, a nice friendly key, C major. And I'm going to put on my metronome because the point of a drill like this, if you're going to get your fingers really even and really precise, is to make it absolutely rhythmically correct. So you need a metronome. And I'm going to start with the metronome at 50, which is pretty slow. And I'll just sort of put it over here. Hopefully, I'm going to put it behind my music a little bit, so hopefully it won't Hopefully it won't fall off the music stand. Maybe I can make sure. There we go. All right. And hopefully it's not too annoying a beep, but you know, there it is, right? So let's do this. We're going to start hands together. If you prefer to do just one hand, that's fine. You can do just one hand. I'm going to do hands together. And realize that if you want to do a right hand and then a left hand, that's a great way to warm up too. But I'm just going to do both hands. All right. And here's our quarter note. Do, 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 do. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we've got a different rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Ah, there we go. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay. Now, by now you have discovered part of what makes this warm-up tricky, and that is that your fingers, you know, it's sort of like putting the accent on the wrong syllable, right? You're going to get fingers that are on long notes that aren't normally accented fingers. So let's do the whole thing again. Same key, of course. We're going to stick with C major here for today. And so we're going to do the whole thing again just to give you another shot at it before we get a little bit more adventurous. Okay, so again, from the beginning, 1, 2, and 3, and ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Okay, my third finger still isn't happy, but it's a little bit better. Now we have some more work to do on this, but let me see if you have questions first of all about this. And I see somebody already does. Let's see. Marilyn says, could you review finger options for measure 3, 4, 5, and 6? There are no options that are different than for regular scales. If you are having difficulty figuring out, putting an accent on a different finger, then you're doing it exactly right, because this should cause you a little bit of finger anxiety. So for any 2-octave scale, like you see in measures 3 through 6 or 7, I mean, all of these are 2-octave scales except for the first one, right? So generally what I use, and I'll say generally, what I usually use, what I usually use for a 2-octave scale is a group of 4, a group of 4, a group of 3, and a group of 4. And then just reverse that on the way down. But it doesn't matter where you put that group of 3. I mean, the idea is that you want to have, you need a group of 4, a group of 4, a group of 3, and a group of 4. It doesn't matter where that group of 3 comes in, but if you try to use one too many groups of 4, you'll come up with an extra finger, and that won't work, right? So a group of 4, a group of 4, a group of 3, and a group of 4. Now look what happens when you do that first scale starting in measure 3. With that fingering, Okay, I've got an accent there, accent on my second finger, an accent on my third finger. Oh, I was supposed to use a group of 3 there. I forgot. Let's try it this way. Group of 4, group of 4, group of 3 on my second finger, group of 4, a group of 4, a group of 3, a group of 4, a group of 4. So one by one, all your fingers get a chance to be the accented finger, which lets you know really quickly which finger is weak, right? Or fingers. So once again, that scale starting in measure 3, I'm using a 4, then another group of 4, then a group of 3, then a group of 4, then a group of 4, then a group of 3, then a group of 4, then a group of 4, and my last group of 4. So, but again, it doesn't matter where you put that group of 3, but if we use that same fingering, let's look at the scale with the triplets and see what it does to our fingering, okay? That's pretty nice. This feels regular, but there's a third finger. All of a sudden, my fourth finger has an accent. Oh. I'm using this very same fingering, but the accent is moving around. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get your fingers to work in unaccustomed ways, because they will have to. At some point, they're going to have to do it. So you're not looking for the comfortable fingering. You're looking for the usual fingering and using the same fingering all the way through to help your fingers learn to play these patterns with accents in different places. Now, I will tell you that the last couple times I cheated on the 16th note scale in that respect, and I changed my pattern and put the third finger group at the top because I was trying to give my left-hand third finger a little bit of extra work. But so I was just doing that to make it a little bit harder for myself because I wasn't comfortable with my third finger today. But you should be using the same pattern all the way through. And I use 4, 4, 3, 4. So let me take some of these questions again, and then we'll do this again. Let's see. Carol says she's running out of fingers. Well, yeah, it happens. Linda says, can you explain how to use the metronome? Are there notes that have to fit between the beats? All of these notes will fit, but half of the notes, more than half the notes, will fit between the beats. We're using the metronome for the quarter note beat so that only the quarter notes will take up an entire click. So this is why you're practicing, why this is a good drill for rhythmic subdivision. It's going to help you practice making those eighth notes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it's going to help you with the triplets 1 triplet 2, 3 triplet 4, and it'll help you with the 16th notes 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So your metronome is just clicking on the quarter note, and you're playing all the other notes. Okay. Carol says there is a turnaround at the top. Well, yes, there's a turnaround at the top. I get it. Okay, now she's not running out of fingers. Perfect. Linda said, okay, we just went through the metronome. I think that's right. Okay. So the metronome, I've written a bunch of blog posts on metronomes, and you might want to go back and look at the blog because it's a big topic and it's more than I can explain here. But the idea of the metronome is to help you give something really reliable for you to line up your notes with, to keep the beat steady for you so that while you're messing with all the difficulty of the notes, you still have something to keep you in line so that your music stays smooth and even. And that's what the metronome is for. You will notice that I always count as I use the metronome because that's two different things. Keeping track of where you are in the measure is about counting, and the metronome is just making sure that all those beats are even. So I would refer you to the blog to look at some of those metronome concepts. All right, now we've worked through this. We're going to do it one more time at that same tempo, and then we're going to be moving onward. Okay, well, I don't need my glasses for this. All right, so we're going to do it again, same thing. All right. Whew, you ready? 1, 2, and ready, 4, go. 1, 2, 3. That was weird counting. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next scale. 1, did it. Okay, good. Now, here we go. We're going to raise the tempo, and we're going to be ambitious today. My plan for this is to just give you an idea of how speeding your fingers up can work. This is actually something we're going to be dealing with in much more detail in the My Harp Mastery community next month. We're talking about speeding things up, speeding up your fingers. But for right now, we are going to raise the metronome from 50 up to 60 for the quarter. Okay. Once again, this is not a little baby step. This is going to be a big change. So let's give it a shot. It won't feel too different, and hopefully it won't be too hard. If you feel like you need to drop out a hand or just catch up with us at some point, that's fine too. But here we go. Same thing, but now we're at 60. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, yeah, it's speedier, isn't it? 3, 4. Going on. 1, 2. Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Sorry. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. All right. Now, before we get all panicky, let's do the whole thing one more time, just like that. When it gets faster and harder, get a little softer. It'll be easier to play. Let's do it again. 3 and ready, go. 1, 2, 3, sorry. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, my fingers didn't like that this time. My third finger fell off the string. I just have to do that one again. Goodness. Boy, that stunk. Okay, that was much better. Whew, sorry about that. Goodness, my fingers just didn't like that this morning. That third finger is just not real happy. So what did you experience doing this at the faster tempo? Were you able to keep up for most of it, for some of it, for any of it? It wasn't that much faster, but notice what this drill and what these patterns allow you to do, right? They allow you to have time to place, to make your placing very accurate, very deliberate, and very precise. Even at that faster tempo, your placing can be really, really efficient and good. And of course, mine wasn't in the 16th note scale this time. It really stunk. Your left hand is so weak, says Jackie. Well, this is a great way to strengthen it. And remember, for strengthening your fingers, don't play harder, play better, right? You want to play with your correct, your best position, your best finger motion, full finger motion, nice steady hand and steady arm. Don't force it. Don't play louder and harder, even though it's hard to not to do that because you're concentrating so hard on making it correct, and it's like relax and let your fingers do what they need to do more easily, and that will train them better, and it will actually strengthen them, believe it or not. Darlene says, my fingers are not doing so well today. Oh, they should work. They should work. So, okay. Excellent. All right. Well, you know, mine aren't working so well today either. And frankly, I blame the weakness of my left hand today on the idea that I worked out and I raised my weights today. I mean, I was doing weight training at home and I raised my weights. So my arms are a little shaky. And that between that and the half cup of coffee that I had more than I usually do, I think I'm just a little bit not steady. I think that's where my left and third finger's coming up. That stuff will show up in your playing for sure. So okay, now you've been brave, you've been good, and now we're going to do this one more time. We're going to raise the metronome one last time. When you're trying to speed up your fingers, there are two approaches. One is the little step at a time, one metronome number at a time going up, and it's actually that's difficult. It doesn't get you results really fast, and it's kind of boring. It seems easy and it seems comfortable because you're not, it's not too hard to go from one number to the next. But there is a benefit to really stretching what you can do. So we started at what for me was a very slow tempo. Now I realize this was for me, and for some of you, this was not an easy tempo to do even where we started. Then we went up from 50 to 60, which you noticed was a considerable difference. Now we're going to go from 60 up to 80. Now here's what may happen to you. You may have no trouble with 80. I don't expect that I will have trouble with 80, except for my left-hand third finger, which is just being difficult today. But at 80, what you might find is that all of a sudden this is just way, way too fast. What I'd like you to try is to just try keeping up, seeing what you can do. If you fall down in the middle of a scale, get ready to get on with the next one and try the next one. Because if you don't give your fingers the experience of, if you don't tell them, okay, look, I know you can't do this today, but this is where we want to go eventually. If you don't give them that experience, they won't know what you expect them to be able to do. They don't have to do it today, but it's very, very, it goes beyond beneficial. It's crucial for you to really push that tempo just to try it. And we'll do it, I was going to say we'll only do it once, but we might do it twice. You never know, just to give you a second shot at it. But so we're going to up the tempo considerably. We're going up to 80 to the quarter, and this is how 80 sounds. So that's going to make those 16th notes, ya ta 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 dee da ta ta ta. So that's going to be fast. It's going to be speedy. Play softer, not louder to make this happen. As it gets tougher, ease up on the volume just to let your fingers have the freedom to move so you can be relaxed and let them move. If you try to play too loudly and too forcefully, they're going to freeze up on you, right? We need to keep them nimble for this exercise. So what we're doing is really speeding it up. It's an experiment. It doesn't have to be correct. Just look at it as sort of a trial balloon, okay? So go with me here. And, if you have to drop out a hand, if you have to drop out measures, all that's good. Just see if you can get to the end with me one way or another, even if it's just to play the last note. Okay? We're going to start from the beginning. You ready? This is fast, I promise. Or I'm sorry. But either way, we're going to try it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay. Let's just try it one more time, and then I promise we won't do it fast again. One more time fast. Ready? Whew, catch your breath. Okay. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, promise. We're not going to do that speed again. So tell me a little bit about what happened when you tried that speed. How much of it were you able to do? Were you able to get through a bunch of it? And we can see what happens. So, okay. All right. Can we see what's going on? All right. 75% both hands. Pretty good. Pretty good, Will. Excellent. The turnarounds killed you, says Arlene. Yeah. Okay. Jackie says playing lighter definitely helps. Well, yep, that is the point. Lisa says it was like a train wreck. Yeah, it can be a train wreck for sure. Carol says all good except the 16ths going up. Okay, well, that's good. You're right on track. Trisha says she lost it on the 16ths too. Sharon says through the triplets with one hand. Good. Okay, that's excellent. Those triplets can be tricky because the accents are so funny. Carol says I couldn't do it, but at least I know what to strive for. Sure, yeah. Well, and 80 might be a number that's out of reach for you for a while. That's okay. If 60 is a stretch for you, then that's the stretch to go to. Once you get to 60, then you can stretch to 80, right? Darlene says, I only did one hand, but I need to work on speed. Yeah, well, I think you actually, Darlene, should probably be doing both hands because I think you can. Just relax and don't worry that it's wrong. Just try it. Marilyn says, one hand got lost but could jump back in now and then. Okay, good. That's also good. And that's an important skill because it lets you know that you've been counting and staying on track. Now, when I use this kind of approach for speeding up a piece, which I often do, after I've done that, and I'm just, okay, this was too fast and I fell off the strings, then I'll go back, probably not all the way to my very slowest tempo, but part way to my slowest tempo. So we're going to do this one last time, I promise last time, at 56. 56. All right? You will find this so nice and slow, you'll be so happy. All right? So one last time from the beginning. Oh, it's such a comfy tempo. Okay, 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. We should stay relaxed. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. There you go. There you go. Excellent. Okay, nice. Now, perfect. Did that not feel really, really easy? And it might have felt even easier than the very first time or two we played it. And what's interesting is that it's faster than the first time we played it. And that's the secret to speeding up. Aha. Okay, let's see. Mary says the quarter note at 56 will work for me. Well, sure. And so this is good. It works, which if 56 works, then it means that you need to be pushing beyond that to get speed going, right? So 56 is a tempo that works. So try 66 as your medium tempo and 84 or even 80 as your fast tempo and then back down, right? If you find a tempo that works, that means that's your baseline. And you can move up from there to a medium and a fast tempo and then work back down. Linda says, I watch during our live sessions and play while watching the recording. Okay, that works. Absolutely. So, although I will tell you also that you probably noticed that playing along is helpful when you're playing with the recording. And so you might as well just play along with me, no problem. But it's up to you. If it works better to listen and experiment later, I totally get it. I totally get it. So that was the point of this warm-up. It's all about, well, it could be about a bunch of things. But today we really worked on getting a nice even rhythm with that metronome, and on speeding things up, right? Now you can also, of course, do this in different keys, which is one of the things I used this for when I first did this, wrote this exercise out. We did these scales in different keys. It was a My Harp Mastery theme from 2015, so that was quite a while ago. But so you can do these same things, just working in different keys. And of course, you don't have to chain yourself to major either. You can do them in minor scales or any kind of made up scale that you want. Those are always fun. So let me see here. Darlene says, brain and fingers need help. The slow speed is better. Of course the slow speed is better, but you don't want to stay with better because then you won't get faster. If you know, and I think this is the dilemma that a lot of people run into. It's like, well, but it works at this tempo and it's really comfy. Of course it is. But if you want to have your fingers play faster, you can't stay with the comfy speed. You have to give them the experience of playing faster to get them to actually move. Because if you only ever let them play at a comfy speed, and if you try to keep yourself comfortable by inching the metronome up, it's going to take forever if you ever get there. You have to experience some of the faster stuff. Now, granted, you don't have to stay there, right? I'm not saying practice it at 80. If 80 is the tempo where you fall off the strings, just try it and then get back down to a tempo where you can come a lot closer to playing it. But after you played 80, 56 was a piece of cake, right? That's the idea. So let's see. Will says there is something to be said by understanding you can fall forward. Yes, excellent, excellent. I love that. Falling forward, right? Or failing forward. It might be what you wrote, but yeah, fail forward. Exactly. So because failing doesn't have to take you backward, right? By failing forward, that's such a cool expression because it means that, okay, it's not working, it failed, but it's moving me in the right direction. And that's exactly what we want to go. Thank you, Will, for bringing that up. Arlene says, excellent approach. I have to change my answers to pointless practice. Okay. All right. Good. Good, good. That's fine. She's taken the no more pointless practice email course, clearly. So yeah, well, you know, and that's why you don't, you know, you can always print those things out again and rework your answers. No problem. But this is the idea. Pushing yourself beyond that. Beyond your comfort point is where you're going to get. So anyway, so that was the point of this week's warm-up. No problem there. I look forward to getting you another warm-up next week. We have something totally different. We have one of those really pretty patterns again. Well, okay, it's moderately pretty, but it's definitely not just a scale. So we have a pretty pattern for you to do next week, and it also comes with a twist. So anything else before we get off the call today? Because I do have to get to my own practice. I'm going to work on my third finger a little bit today. Get that back in line. It's just not happening. So, all right. Okay. Well, I will look forward to seeing you again next week with a new warm-up. We will get the replay posted as soon as we can. We'll get that all done for you, and we'll get on with something else next week. Okay. So, but please don't be afraid to experiment with speed. Remember, in your practice, that's what it's for. Practice is for making mistakes, because that's when you want to make them, right? It's not, okay. As long as you remember that. Lots of great pointers. Thank you, says Susan. Oh, you're very welcome. Linda says, thank you for suggesting your blog. Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff on metronomes and stuff in there particularly. Mary says, thanks so much. Love these warm-ups. I'm so glad. And Nancy says, thank you. This practice is indispensable. Metronome practice. Yeah, I know. You will never find me without a metronome nearby. So you are also welcome very, very much. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Okay? All righty. See ya. Bye.